What if the woman who never appeared on Sister Wives is the one who changed the entire Brown family forever? Today, we're uncovering the untold story of Michelle Petty, the quiet force who reshaped Logan Brown's future and possibly the next generation too. So hit subscribe right now and join us, because on this channel, we don't just watch the drama, we uncover the truth behind it. Behind the carefully edited scenes of Sister Wives and the emotional couch interviews that shaped more than a decade of reality television, there exists a quieter story, one that was never given a dramatic soundtrack, never packaged into a season finale, and never promoted in a teaser trailer. It is the story of Logan Brown, the firstborn son of Cody Brown and Janelle Brown, and the woman who would eventually become his wife, Michelle Petty. For years, viewers watched Logan grow up on camera, taking on responsibilities far beyond his age, cooking breakfast for his siblings, mediating conflicts, and absorbing the unspoken pressure of being the oldest child in a complex plural family dynamic. While Cody moved between households, attempting to maintain authority, and while Robin Brown slowly became the emotional center of his world, Logan was quietly observing, learning, and internalizing everything. He witnessed the strain on his mother, Janelle, as she balanced independence with loyalty. He saw Christine Brown struggle to have her emotional needs acknowledged. He watched Mary Brown navigate isolation and shifting relevance, and he observed how Robin's vulnerability often translated into influence inside the family structure. These early experiences shaped Logan in ways viewers could sense but never fully measure. He became calm, measured, diplomatic, almost cautious in how he expressed himself. That caution followed him into adulthood, and for a time, it seemed inevitable that he would either replicate the dynamic he grew up in or distance himself entirely from it. What no one anticipated was that the most significant turning point in Logan's life would come not through confrontation with his father, but through partnership with Michelle Petty. Michelle entered Logan's world not as a character in a storyline, but as a fully realized individual with her own academic goals, her own career trajectory, and her own understanding of healthy boundaries. The two met at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, far removed from the cameras and the structured narrative of the Brown family. Their connection developed in classrooms, conversations, shared ambitions, and mutual respect. Not through family introductions or religious expectations. Michelle was pursuing a master's degree in criminal justice, a field grounded in analysis, behavioral patterns, accountability, and systems of power. That academic foundation would later become central to how observers interpret her role in the evolving Brown family dynamic. Unlike the emotional hierarchies Logan grew up around, Michelle operated from logic, clarity, and equality. She did not seek to be rescued, she did not position herself as dependent, and she did not step into the Brown orbit looking for validation. Instead, she built her life alongside Logan, not beneath him and not behind him, but beside him. Friends and longtime viewers began noticing subtle changes in Logan as the relationship progressed. He appeared more confident, more settled, less burdened by the invisible weight he had carried for years. Insiders have suggested that Michelle's presence allowed Logan to re-examine the patterns he had normalized growing up. In plural marriage, the language of leadership often centered on the patriarch, but Michelle's worldview centered on partnership. Decisions were shared, authority was mutual, and emotional labor was balanced. That difference may seem subtle, yet inside a family long defined by hierarchy, it represented something revolutionary. Over time, Michelle maintains deliberate distance from the televised world of Sister Wives. She declined opportunities to film, avoided confessional segments, and chose privacy over exposure. While other spouses and partners gradually appeared on screen, Michelle remained outside the narrative. That absence became powerful in its own right because it signaled intention rather than avoidance. She was not hiding, she was choosing boundaries, and boundaries within the Brown structure had rarely been enforced so calmly or consistently. The most visible example of this intentional privacy emerged around Logan and Michelle's wedding. Fans expected a major televised event filled with emotional interviews, commentary, and behind-the-scenes planning. Instead, the ceremony unfolded largely away from TLC cameras. The official explanation emphasized a desire for intimacy, yet observers believe the decision carried deeper meaning. By keeping the wedding private, Michelle and Logan ensured that the day would not become a storyline shaped by producers or influenced by extended family dynamics. It would belong solely to them. Reports from those close to the family suggest that planning decisions were handled carefully and inclusively, but within clearly defined limits. Invitations were extended thoughtfully, roles were assigned respectfully, and expectations were managed firmly. Robin attended as a guest, not as an organizer, not as the emotional narrator, not as the focal point. That distinction may have appeared minor from the outside, but symbolically, it represented a shift in the Brown family dynamic. For years, major milestones often gravitated toward Robin's perspective, yet here, the event unfolded without that gravitational pull. Logan supported Michelle fully, presenting a unified front whenever questions arose. The strength of that unity became a defining feature of their marriage. Observers noted that Logan no longer seemed compelled to mediate every conflict or absorb every emotional ripple. Instead, he appeared anchored, grounded in a partnership that prioritized mutual respect over external pressure. Michelle's academic background in criminal justice likely sharpened her awareness of manipulation patterns, though no public statements confirmed specific interventions. The effect, however, was visible. Logan disengaged from public family disputes, refrained from escalating online commentary, and maintained consistent composure during moments of tension. His calm was not indifference, it was stability, and that stability appeared reinforced by Michelle's steady presence. As seasons progressed and fractures widened within the Brown family, viewers saw older siblings creating independent holiday traditions, meeting in Utah, spending time together outside the Flagstaff nucleus. These gatherings were not framed as rebellion, but as natural evolution. Children who grew up under a single patriarchal umbrella were now forming autonomous households, connected by choice rather than obligation. Some observers theorized that Michelle's example demonstrated how to build that autonomy without hostility. She and Logan maintained polite communication but limited exposure. They protected financial independence, ensuring no entanglements that could create leverage. They responded to invitations with flexibility, not defensiveness. In doing so, they modeled a sustainable alternative to the emotional intensity that had characterized previous seasons. The contrast between the older structure and the emerging one became increasingly apparent. Cody often spoke of unity, hierarchy, and loyalty, while the adult children increasingly prioritized balance, boundaries, and mental well-being. Michelle's influence cannot be measured in dramatic confrontations because none were televised. Instead, it is measured in absence of chaos, in refusal to escalate, in consistent privacy. Her choice to remain off-camera may be the most strategic decision of all because it prevents her from being edited or misinterpreted. She cannot be assigned a narrative because she never entered the script. And that position outside the frame grants her unique strength. Within family systems, change rarely happens through loud declaration. It happens through modeling, through repetition, through quiet proof that another path exists. Logan and Michelle's life together appears stable, deliberate, and self-directed. They purchased a home, established careers, and built routines separate from production schedules. That separation did not sever family ties, but it redefined them. Relationships became voluntary interactions rather than required appearances. The ripple effect extended beyond Logan. Younger partners entering the extended Brown circle observed both versions of family life, the televised tension and the off-screen calm, the hierarchical expectations and the egalitarian partnership Michelle embodied. While there is no official network of advice, no confirmed strategy sessions, the alignment among the adult children suggests shared values have taken root. They prioritize emotional safety, They coordinate gatherings based on mutual respect, and they decline involvement in conflicts that do not serve their well-being. This shift unsettled long-standing assumptions about legacy. For years, the Brown narrative centered on the growth of a plural family under a single guiding figure. Yet the emerging chapter focuses on independent units, thriving without centralized control. Michelle's role in that transformation remains largely unspoken, yet consistently referenced by observers who track patterns across seasons. She represents the possibility that generational change does not require rebellion, only clarity. Logan once symbolized continuity, the eldest son likely to uphold tradition. Instead, he represents transition, the bridge between a past structured by hierarchy and a future defined by partnership. Michelle stands beside him, not as opposition, but as evidence that stability can be chosen intentionally. The suspense within this story lies not in scandal, but in subtlety. It lies in how one private decision after another accumulated into systemic change. It lies in how refusing to film reshaped expectations. It lies in how calm responses disarmed potential escalation. It lies in how unity within a marriage prevented division from taking hold. And it lies in how viewers gradually recognized that the most powerful transformation was happening outside the camera frame. As the Brown family continues navigating its public evolution, the contrast remains visible. One path emphasizes authority, narrative, and emotional spectacle. The other emphasizes equality, discretion, and resilience. Michelle Petty may never offer a televised explanation for her choices, yet her impact resonates through outcomes that viewers can observe. Holidays organized independently, public statements measured carefully, boundaries maintained without apology. Logan appears secure, grounded, and unburdened by the role he once played in childhood. The future chapters of the Brown story are still unfolding, but the foundation has shifted quietly, decisively, and perhaps permanently. Part 1 of this deeper look reveals a truth often overlooked in reality television, that influence does not require screen time, and strength does not require volume. Sometimes the person who changes everything is the one who never steps into the spotlight, yet alters the direction of the narrative simply by living differently. As the public narrative around the Brown family continued to unravel with separations, emotional interviews, and shifting alliances, another quieter transformation was solidifying beneath the surface. And this is where part 2 of the story becomes even more compelling, because it moves beyond Logan and Michelle as a couple and into the broader impact of their choices on the entire next generation of Browns. When Cody Brown began openly expressing frustration about feeling excluded from his older children, describing them as forming a clique and questioning their loyalty, many viewers interpreted his words as emotional reaction to divorce and distance. But longtime observers noticed something deeper. The exclusion was not explosive. It was coordinated, calm, and consistent. And coordination of that kind rarely happens without influence. Michelle Petty never issued a public statement, never positioned herself as a spokesperson, and never criticized anyone on camera. Yet the behavioral patterns among the adult children began to mimic the model she and Logan had established: privacy, partnership, and boundaries. The holiday shifts were the most visible example. For years, gatherings revolved around centralized. In the end, the biggest twist in the Brown family story wasn't a breakup or a fight on camera. It was a quiet marriage built on strength, boundaries, and partnership. And if you believe the real power moves happen off-screen, make sure you subscribe right now, because we're just getting started uncovering the stories they never show you.